to get out of the season.
True.
Sorry, it's better to get out of the season. It's easier to get out of the season. That's what I meant.
Right, let's just do it. Let's have the BDS convo. Let's go straight to the top of the league. Right, yes, it is round robin, but even then, just look at the round robin guys. The only teams they lost to were G2, who everyone agreed were the best, and then SK, who are probably the best rising underdog / dark horse team, except BDS themselves. And the most crazy thing about this to me, Doff, man, obviously you'll have more insight into the team than me, is this. I thought last split they actually had some very promising performances and looked good. But if I had to pick between, the classic analyst's trope would be this. They should be one of the teams that falls off a little bit, along with maybe like an SK and the Mad Lions as well. And then it should be, the other rosters get the better players, they figure out and then they sort of, you meet in parity, But as you see, they're still way ahead of the Kois of the world, the Fanatics of the world. Actually, if anything, this was the split where they went to an even higher level. How have they done it? Because here's the thing. If I take these 5 players, their names on paper, most people still wouldn't credit most of these players with being the best. I notice even Adam, who we've definitely changed our tune on, even he still sort of gets the old narratives and people think he's just like a two-trick and he's a moron or whatever. How have they done it, in your opinion? How have they managed to get to the top of the league with all these monster rosters and talents elsewhere?
I mean, I think they're the classic example of a team that just understands themselves a lot better than other teams. I think when you look at a lot of their games, they just, in the early game, they understand what their strengths are. They really are playing to it pretty well. And I think they're one of the teams that's actually improved from Winter Split. I think the most. I think they're the real deal, honestly. I think they have a couple of weaknesses later in the game, but just anytime teams go into draft against them, they have to ask the question, are we going to waste 2 bans on banning Adam, or are we going to just let him have fun and our top lane's going to be on fire the whole game? I think they have a really good balance there, where bot lane is really strong. I think Adam is really strong, but he creates a lot of situations where both junglers have to go top or the game is over. So the bot lane then gets space to play from there. I think they're just a really well-balanced team, and I think they're all playing really well right now.
What do you think, Dom? How have they done it?
Well, I think that they have a unique style, and I think other teams just aren't able to play into them well. You can see that Adam wins a lot of the matchups that people think are unwinnable. So when teams try to counterpick him, it feels like a lot of teams are still in the mentality where they're like, oh, just give him the Darius, I'll counterpick with something like Fiora. And then they start playing the matchup. They're like, wait, is this Darius favored? Like, how does this matchup actually go? So I think that they get checked a lot like that. And I think that BDS is just one of the strongest like laning teams, surprisingly. I think Adam lanes really well, and I think the bot lane lanes really well, and mid lane is just stable. So when you have that, they're getting a lot of leads in their games because of this, and it's cool to watch them keep on iterating on their style and really like just realizing that their style is going to be, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like they're going to have to play the style, and they're just bringing new champions into it because Adam can play like melee tanks. The things that you don't want to see Adam on are like Jace, GP. I mean, I know he played Gnar in LFL. A lot of people were really hyping it. So if you say he was bad at Gnar, they're always going to be like, oh, he played in LFL. Like he was really good in it in like last summer or whatever. I still don't think that that's his style. Like I think he wants to be playing things that can fight you. And they're bringing new champions in and allowing him to like play that style. I also think he's actually played frontline pretty well when he plays tanks, whereas some of the other tank players just take free damage. Like Adam, for the most part, he's not really like inting. He's taking damage when he's allowing his team to get space and things like that. So the team is just really honed in on what they're good at, and they play their game every single time. Every time you play against BDS, you're playing a game where it's like, all right, Adam's on this like annoying fucker champion, where the champions that if you were playing solo, you'd be like, oh, this guy's so unskilled, bro. He's just playing Darius every game. The fucking Darius player. Oh, this guy's an idiot playing Olaf, but he wins every single time, right? So you can't really knock it. I do expect this team to fall off, though, still in playoffs. I just think that when you have a full week to prepare for just them, I think that they're a different team. I mean, I guess groups or playoffs. I mean, in the best of threes, I don't think that they'll be the best team. I think most teams look at the split. I would be surprised if there's anyone in LEC right now that does not think G2 is the best team and actually thinks BDS is better than G2. But I think they'll probably they'll do better in this phase than they did last time, because last time people forget that they ended up kind of bombing out. It was really disappointing.
Astralis got them. Yeah,
Astralis got them, and that was the Astralis roster with Dayor, where I mean they limped into playoffs. No one thought that Astralis was going to do anything. So they had a pretty massive fall off when they hit the BO3 stage last time. And I think the reason why they get a pass on that is because no one expected them to even make the BO3 stage anyway. So they're like, you know what? Like, they still overperformed. I just don't know if they're suited to actually play best of series and if they'll be able to keep their strategies intact, because it feels like when you get time to prep for BDS and you could really break it down, you should be able to at least get into some game states where you're not getting crushed, because they are pretty predictable in the way they're going to play the game. You know, they're going to play some bruiser tank top, and they're going to like try to play it pretty aggressively. Crowny's going to be on something that scales decently, and Nuck is going to kind of just be AFK, like just doing his own thing mid lane. So when you have weeks to prepare, or like a week to prepare, 2 weeks in this circumstance, actually, I think that you have a much better shot at taking them down. So I think they could probably get out of their group. Man, their group is hard, but I think they could probably get out of their group just based on, you know, how well they're playing right now and their confidence levels.
On this team, what I would say is this: like, first of all, just what a fantastic split again from Crown Shot. He's just had 2 in a row now, guys. Like, at this point in time, he just is one of the elite AD carries in the LEC. Like, he's even a contender for best, quite frankly. When you look at his teammates who he's playing with, just guys, that's just fucking amazing this year. And also, I do think it's a step up from past years. He was good in those past. Now he just looks really good. Don't know whether he just took time to blossom. Adam, just because I flamed him, I'll say I actually did think he did pretty well. Yes, you can obviously always highlight he's clearly not someone who's a cerebral thinker about how the wave state works and what the jungler can do. Yes, that's all great, but even so, you guys can't stop him. You guys can't fucking shut him down and kill him and stop him. And also, like Dom says, you either let him get his picks and think, well, this isn't even a good champion. It's like, it's all he does is play those champions, you fucking idiot. Like, the joke is like he only plays League of Legends as a byproduct of loading up fucking like those champions to play them. So he knows every counter pick. It's not a counter pick against him. It's like back in the day, mate, how many years did I have to watch Power of Evil trick people into thinking they were counter picks that he like religiously plays in solo queue and has like a different build for, that you think like, no, this is how it works. It's like even like made the builds like that doesn't even like counter you at this point in the lane or something. Like, the people who are the 1 and the 2 tricks, at least honor that they're a 1 and a 2 trick, for fuck's sake. At least give them credit. They are cracked on that champion. And then after that, the rest of it's just a team to me. I don't even think the other players are that sick. Yeah, a lot of them have improved. The thing I was most impressed with in this squad, though, is the amount of times I've seen them in late game scenarios or have a lead, but then just close the game and win. That is so unusual for players that are inexperienced like this. Like, they don't have someone. The joke is Crown, he's the veteran of this team. And he's not a guy who's got the experience of, you know, finals and stuff like that. Like, that's the thing that's different. There have been teams before that were impressive. Like, they get the early lead, or they can just fight, or their players are strong. To actually be able to close games, I'm with you on that, Duff, man. That part is legit, mate. That part, I do think they earned their place at the spot. The problem is, I sort of agree with Dom. It's fucked up they finished first, because when I look at the group, it's like, what's the seeding on these? Because the joke is Group B looks like someone designed it as a group to defeat fucking BDS. You put all the team, like SK obviously has just got a load of talent. They can beat anyone. And then G2 and Koi, like G2 are the best, and Koi are the team where it's like, you might not like them, but the more games there are in a series, the more chance they're going to have to come and win and do that boring ass style and to eventually just draft half decently. Like, I feel, I'm with you, Dom. The problem is, I feel like they're borderline to get out the group. Like, maybe they are going to be legit. I think they've ended up, unfortunately, with a really tricky group. I think if they were in Group A, I don't care who they're in Group A instead of, they would walk through that group, I think. I think they would easily be top 2. So I also feel like maybe the format's made them unlucky. But the good news is this: they're going to get to prove if they are super legit. If they get out of this group, how's anyone going to talk shit on them, by the way, no matter what they do in the playoff section? They'll just be super legit. What are your thoughts on the group setup in that sense, Duff, man?
I mean, yeah, I think they still will make it out. I think Koi have shown too many weaknesses. I think SK have shown in recent weeks a lot of mistakes around bot lane, and I think Crowny will just eat that up. I think him and Labrov have been probably the most impressive bot lane for me. I think they were good last split for sure, but they died. They kind of went 50-50 in a lot of situations towards like playoffs and the end of the split, but I can't think of a single game where they've just straight up died in the lane phase. I think they're just the most consistent, and they're consistently getting ahead, and that's where I think they're better than SK and Koi. So I think they will still make it out. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think they would.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.